All right, good afternoon and welcome to our How to Maximize Your Online Advertising Through Facebook, put on through the Idaho Small Business Development Center and Dallas Crum from Inspiir. I wanted to just take a moment and introduce you to the SBDC if you're not familiar with who we are. And we'll just kind of give you a little update on how this is going to roll. We are recording, so just so that you know, if you log in late or you missed a little bit of this, we'll have this and I will send the recording as soon as I can get it uploaded to YouTube. My name is Kim Sherman-Labrum. I am consultant for the Small Business Development Center. Sorry, I used to be the training coordinator for the Small Business Development Center, and I am transitioning out of that position. And so it's weird for me to say I'm not quite used to introducing myself just yet. So I'm a consultant with the Small Business Development Center, and I wanted to take a moment and introduce you to what the Small Business Development Center is and what we do. We offer free one-on-one consulting for small businesses to help you be more successful. And we do that with our confidential consulting. And so if you have a small business and you're having trouble with marketing or with hiring employees or starting up or operations or processes or anything like that, that's what we are here for. And sorry, I'm needing to mute people. Hang on just a moment. So there we go. I'm going to keep everybody muted just to make sure that we don't have any background noise, but you're welcome to chat or raise your hand and if you have questions, and Dallas will take time and answer questions as we go along. So going forward, we also, in addition to our confidential consulting, we do trainings like what you're about to experience. Sometimes we do them in-house where one of our staff members teaches, and sometimes we go outside when we find somebody who has a greater depth of expertise, which is the case with Dallas here. So in the Boise area, we also have two accelerator spaces. And so if you are looking for a space to get out of the back bedroom or the garage, and you're looking for some kind of intensive mentoring and training, then our accelerator spaces might just be for you. We have one in downtown Boise, and then we have a much larger one out in Nampa behind the Idaho Center. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dallas because nobody came to listen to me talk. So I'm going to let you talk, and I will just pay attention to questions and keep the chat moving along. So Dallas, I'm going to unmute you, I think. Oh, you're going to have to do it because you're a co-host. So.
How about now?
There you go.
There we go.
Technology.
Can we hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So I am calling, just so you guys know, we've had issues in the past sometimes with the internet. So I'm actually calling in through my phone and sharing my screen here. So is the audio okay?
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay, beautiful.
And anybody else who's listening, if you would chat in and just kind of let us know how the audio sounds on your end, that would be great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would love to hear the chat, and I would love to know what your businesses are. So as we get dialed in, if you wouldn't mind just sending your name, because I can't see everybody's name. I can see a few people's, but just your name and what your business is in the chat. And yes, and then I will be able to kind of make references and examples throughout the whole meeting. I want to make sure I can see it. It's not showing up there. Where's my chat?
So Michael did say that it sounds good, so that's great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So, oh, there we go. I think I can see it. Great. All right, we are good to go. So thanks everybody for being here. It is about to be a serious party. We're going to cover a lot of information, so don't feel like you have to remember everything that we're doing. Remember that Kim is recording this, so this is going to be available on recording. And then secondly, this entire deck is going to be available to you in PDF format after the after this talk. So definitely take notes and pick bits and pieces out. We'll get some questions in here as well. But with that, let's dive right in. We have a lot of exciting things. Everything that's built in this presentation today is to help you move the needle. This is no fluff. This isn't just like basic information. I'm going to show you some case studies, some things that are help you make money in your business right away, because that's why we advertise, right? So let's jump right in here. Interestingly enough, little backstory here. If anybody doesn't know who John Wanamaker is, he is head of Wanamaker department stores. There's still the Wanamaker Oregon. Wanamaker department stores turned into what is now Macy's. And John Wanamaker, he's kind of one of the founding fathers of marketing and these ideas. Like before Wanamaker and the stores, like people didn't have price tags on things in stores. He did a lot of interesting things. And you can see he lived here from 1838 to 1922. And he's famous for this one big saying: half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. That's John Wanamaker in, the late 1800s or early 1900s. The crazy thing is, it's 2020 now, and I know for a fact in my business and a lot of our clients' businesses, like so many people still feel this way, which is, is crazy considering the fact that we have the technology to not have this happen. We can actually track our marketing to the T to see what's actually working, what's bringing in new business for us, what's bringing in leads, and we can track all this data. And so that's really what we want to cover today. Is you should be able to track, if I'm spending money here, is it turning into sales, or is it turning into leads and into sales? And we'll see that process draw out throughout this presentation, but that's a really big idea that I want to focus on here. If we're spending money to acquire customers, right, which is what advertising and marketing is, we want to know if it's working or not. So the goal for this workshop is to learn new tools and strategies to get the most out of your advertising efforts. So that's it. I just want you to learn a few new tools and some new strategies. We're going to talk about some high-level things, and then we're going to actually go into some detailed things as well. Just a quick backstory so you know who the heck is talking at you. My name is Dallas Crum. I'm a Boise native, born and raised, left for a little while, came back, super happy to be here. And one of the first businesses that I started was a company called Vivid Roots. You can see Vivid Roots right here. This is me and one of my good buddies down in Guatemala. So at Vivid Roots, what we do is we take people on trips down to Guatemala, down to Ecuador, and we help increase access to clean water, education, and health services. And when I was new into business and new into marketing, I really dove into social media. And that's how we grew this company. You'll see a bunch of people here with us down in Guatemala as we're helping a health center. And so this is my start into marketing. How do we figure out how to get people here on these trips to ultimately, make revenue and make an impact? And we did everything under the sun. We did, we listened to Gary Vaynerchuk. If you're a Vaynerchuk fan, like we did all these things. We posted content. That's a very broad term, and we're gonna dive into what that means later. But we did all these things. You can see this is our Facebook page, almost 18,000 followers. This is our Twitter page, over 17,000, over 25,000 followers on Instagram. So these aren't massive size accounts, but across our channels, we're over, upwards of 60,000, including our email list. Like we did all those things. And it was, let me tell you, a lot of work. Years and years going to work and getting these followers and getting this engagement and all of these things. And ultimately, the unfortunate side of things is we couldn't track it directly to revenue. We couldn't track engagement to revenue. We couldn't track new followers to more money, right? But typically, as a business owner or as a marketer, we get sort of fixated on some of these basic metrics like followers or engagement rates. And unfortunately, even back in, it's changed now since this has happened, but just gaining followers on social media, like that's not a way that we can, grow our businesses, unfortunately. So we're not going to talk about this today, just so you know. If anybody has questions about growing their following, we can talk about it, but I actually prefer to talk about some stuff that's actually going to make you a lot more money and save you a lot of time and energy that I spent. So from that was born Inspiir Media. Inspiir Media is an agency that I own and operate. We have a team, I think we got 9 people. We've grown a lot this year. And we do all sorts of things, but our bread and butter is Facebook advertising, Google advertising. We advertise on Pinterest, Snapchat, LinkedIn. So we do ads, and we also do email automations and all these things to help businesses grow, e-commerce companies. So you can see here, we're a Facebook partner, we're a Google partner, and a digital marketer certified partner, which is what we're going to be talking a little bit about today as these ideologies. So that's sort of the background. We manage millions of dollars in ad spend. So a lot of this data and information is coming from, just a lot and thousands of ads created, and simplifying it down to help small businesses. So 3 things we are going to talk about today. Number 1, customer value journey. Everybody wants to jump right into Facebook ads, wants to jump right into, posting content on LinkedIn, into like all of these things. But the key here is our customer value journey. This is our roadmap. This is how do we know where we're going? How do we have a structure for this process that we're going to do? Because we're going to put in a lot of work. And if we don't have a map to know where we're going, we're just going to be wandering, and that's no good. So the number 1 most important thing is this customer value journey. I cannot stress it enough. If you leave today with nothing else, like, this customer value journey is super valuable. You're going to get it all here, downloaded in the PDF. Number 2 is using data to drive results. Data is a big word, right? It's like the biggest word of 2020 is data. What does that mean for your business exactly? We're going to talk about that and how you can use it to drive results for you. Number 3, how following up can change your business. This is our low-hanging fruit. This is, you want to make some money, you want to make it sooner than later. Let's talk about follow-up, and we're going to do that in the end. So as you see, I've kind of structured this in some overarching strategy, because hopefully that's going to be important for you, focusing on data that may be available to you or that you can create. And then lastly, some low-hanging fruit for you to hopefully get some revenue out of this, right? So just so you know, I'm serious. This is one example of a client that we worked with. One of many case studies. This was a consulting client. We're teaching them how to do exactly kind of what we're talking about today. And in the first 90 days, they basically, you can see here, this is a screenshot directly from Facebook, tracking their revenue, spending $4,000 and making $61,000. The math on that, 14x is the return, right? So every dollar turned into $14. That's a pretty solid return, considering that's not the lifetime value of the customer. That's immediately. So this stuff really does work. I pulled a screenshot. You can see this is a client. People may be wondering, is this working during the pandemic? Is this working in 2020? It is. This is a screenshot actually I just pulled just before this this talk, just to show you. This is directly from Facebook Ads Manager, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can see the dates here, May 2020 through August 31st. So, middle of the pandemic. We have a campaign right here running a 49x return. 49x return. I have another campaign. This is all the same client, running a 8x return, a 2.5x return. So this is all, this is stuff that's working right now. And so that's the only reason I share this, is just to say, like, hey, this is the real stuff, and hopefully it's helpful for you. Oh, I'm gonna do a little mute in there. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, now that we got the beginning out of the way, let's get rolling. Let's get to learning. Number 1, customer value journey. Again, huge, huge, huge. A lot has changed since John Wanamaker in the 1800s, right? So much has changed in marketing over the years, and we've had TV and radio and print and newspapers, right? Then Facebook or Google and search came out, and Facebook, and all of these things. It's like it could make your head spin. But really, to simplify it, the one big thing has not changed. That's number 1. This is humans, right? We're still marketing human to human. So the idea here that we're going to talk about, whether you have a B2B business or a B2C business, all of this is going to be relevant because we are marketing to human beings. So I also do realize this GIF is actually about a TV show I learned actually from Kim early on in one of our trainings, that these people are actually not humans, but you get the idea. Humans have not changed. I won't dive too deep into this, but there is a really, really smart scientist named Desmond Morris in the 70s, wrote a book called Intimate Behavior. You'll see here on the 12 stages of intimacy. And the reason this is important is because, you know, obviously marketing and advertising is very psychological because it's all based on, you know, it's a scientific process. And one thing that was extremely interesting when he wrote this 12 stages of intimacy, it basically was, how does someone, when he wrote this book, how does someone go from not knowing someone, right, all the way to getting married? And, you know, I got married last month, you know, 6 years ago, I had no idea who my wife was, right? No idea. But how do we go from this place of not knowing each other to having the most intimate relationship in the world, right? And this could be maybe even just to a friendship, but there are certain stages that we go through in personal relationships. Well, the message here is that we go through a very, very similar set of stages in our relationship with businesses or brands, right? Or our customers do with our business and our brand. We can't just jump. I couldn't have just asked my now wife to marry me on that day one, 6.5 years ago when we met, right? Maybe 7 years ago now when we met. Don't tell her I said that. We couldn't do that. And that's sort of the challenge here that I'm seeing. That's the number one issue. If you're writing anything down, say, don't ask my customers to marry me on the very first date. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. So this is our customer value journey. It is actually 8 stages rather than 12. We simplified it a little bit for you. This is from Digital Marketer, which is an incredible, incredible resource if you're looking to gain access to digital marketing resources. They're one of the top digital marketing trainers in the world. Amazing, amazing company. But this is our customer value journey, which we're going to go through every single one of these stages, actually. And it's very, very important. And we're really going to focus on the first half, this first piece, because this is where most people struggle the most. And I think where it's most important to get started. But this is our customer value journey. Again, you're going to have this printed available to you at the end of this. As I was saying, most people jump right to the conversion stage. And you can see here, convert. This is when someone actually gives us money, gives us time, gives us something, right? Most of the time when we're advertising on Facebook or we're doing something where we are just jumping right to, hey, this is what I do, will you give me money? So obviously a ridiculous meme saying, so for our first date, I was thinking we could figure out the names for our children. Clearly in a personal relationship, too far. In a business relationship, absolutely too far to just say, hey, my name is Dallas Crum, I sell insurance, right? How much can I sell you, right? Or I sell advertising. What can I give you, right? We don't start there, and we can't win our digital customer experience either. We need to start with awareness, right? First of all, people have to know that you exist. And so I'm going to make this parallel throughout this customer value journey of sort of personal relationships and business relationships. And although it might be slightly outrageous, the point is to drive these things home. Because we see this far, far too often. So first is awareness, right? Personal relationship, they have to know you exist. What that means in business is a prospect sees your ad, right? They find you in search, they're Googling for you. They hear about you via referral, etc. Right? They have to know that you exist. Personal relationship. What's the next thing? I'll use myself as an example. When I met my wife, before she was my wife, I had to go up and introduce myself. She maybe was aware of me, maybe she saw me from across the room there at Boise State University, maybe, but I had to go introduce myself, right? So now I'm engaged. This is an engagement. So now she has to speak back to me, right? That's an engagement. What this looks like in your business is the prospect, they read a blog post. Maybe they engage on social media, so they comment or they like, or they click to read an infographic, right? Or they watch a video. They have now taken an action. That's a key element here. They have now taken an action. So super important. Now they know you exist, and I know this seems elementary, but it's gonna get serious here. So we got to know these parts before we get to the next pieces. The next thing, super important. I would have never been able to get a hold of her again if I didn't get her phone number or email address, right? Something to follow up. Super important in business as well, right? Whether this is a sales process or a marketing process when they come to your website. This is why we do things like opt-in to receive gated content, right? We've all downloaded an ebook or maybe some sort of free guide, or maybe opted in to get a coupon, right, on your website. Hey, get us your email, get 10% off. a cheat sheet, some sort of resource, right? There's so many different things that we can trade for their email. We'll talk a little bit about the Facebook pixel and the Google and retargeting, so you don't always actually have to get someone's email to get back in front of them again. But the idea here is cool. Now we got this information. Now we got to be able to get back and hold of you, because what we know is you most likely probably will not purchase on the first attempt, right? Whether that's on the website, that's in person. It takes 7 to 12 follow-ups, as the data shows, to finish to get that purchase. So we got to get back. We got to get a hold of you. The next piece is conversion. So conversion in terms of our customer value journey means one thing, but in a personal relationship, right, this is, hey, let's meet up, let's talk about our feelings over a cup of coffee. Obviously another joke meme, but the idea is here we start small. We didn't jump to a big date. We didn't jump to like some crazy thing. We started small. This example is coffee. I think my wife and I, we went out for smoothies, right? And it was nice and easy, and it's simple. It's bite-sizable. It's entry level. That way it was easy. They don't have to bail. The same thing with our customers. This is a small purchase, or they schedule a demo, a free consultation, some sort of time with you. This is massive. These two pieces are massive. How do we engage with that person, and how do we get them to convert? We don't typically, again, depending on the business, we don't necessarily always want to sell them the biggest thing first. We want something bite-sized. We call this an entry point offer. This is something that gets our foot in the door. We'll talk about a few examples of those down the road as well. Now, excitement, right? This is where the magic happens. Coffee goes great. In my case, the smoothie went great. Took her to the zoo. We had a blast. She told me years later that she hates the zoo, but we still had fun, so it still worked out, right? There was excitement. We got to know each other, found out that this is cool. We should definitely keep doing this thing, right? For your customer, that means getting actual value from your initial transaction, right? So that initial excitement, whatever that was, if it's a free consultation, you best believe that'd be the best free consultation. They had a great experience. They love you. They love your staff. They love, everyone that they work with. It is a great first experience. They get actual value. They come away going, man, they really know their stuff. Or maybe it's a first purchase, right? Into, we work with a lot of cosmetic companies selling cosmetics. So it's a small product. They didn't spend very much, but like, man, this is good stuff. I love it, right? Or it's something that they get actual value from. This is super important. This excitement now allows us to take the next step and ascend in our relationships, right? We take some time, personal relationship. Now we know it's right. We can have the question we can do in business, our core offer and our upsells, right? And this is where we ascend our customer. So you can see we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stages typically, right? Typically, before we grow our customers. Now, keep in mind, we can skip stages here every now and then, but we can't skip from awareness to ascend, right? We could jump into conversion, like we can skip a little bit, but we really should be following this thing the best that we can. Now, as I've been told, and plenty of advice that I have gotten over the last little while getting married, is you have to keep dating, right? You got to keep doing a good job. Like, just because we got married doesn't mean that I can just, not hold up my end of the bargain, right? We got to keep going. This is about advocacy, right? We keep going. For a customer, this is successful customer gives us a testimonial, a case study. These are things we have to ask for, right? We can't just assume customers are going to give us reviews. They're going to give us a testimonial, a case study. This is us following up with them saying, hey, hope you really loved your experience. A review would really help us out, right? Or an email follow-up that does that, or a case study. Hey, how was your experience? We'd love your honest feedback so we can share with other people, right? This doesn't happen unless we ask people for it and we keep working at the relationship. Now, this is where the analogy breaks down a little bit. Obviously, a little bit of a joke here with the personal relationship side. I'm probably not going to go find myself more wives. But in my business, I definitely am going to go find myself more customers. So this is now, you have built that relationship. Now they're going to go tell people about it. So the key here, and I have this all filled out for you, as you can see, that you can go through, and we're going to fill a few of these out for yourself here in just a few minutes. But it is crucial here that we are following this sort of guideline. We know for each stage, we're focusing on where each stage is, because then we know why people are dropping off. I have so many people that said, hey, I've tried Facebook. I'm sure most of the people on here have tried boosting a Facebook post, or, you know, putting money behind an Instagram post, and they're like, yeah, I just didn't see it, right? And that's because typically the structure and the process wasn't there. When you put out your post, did you think through exactly where you're going to send people, and then what they were going to do after that, and then the next step for them? And did we give them easy next steps, right? When we've downloaded software before, software companies do this really well. And some brands I'm sure you've worked with that you can imagine that have done these things really, really well. I want to share one example that I love just because it's a local business. Lindsay, my wife, and I, we were in Belize after being in Guatemala for a little bit, and we're open water divers, so we love to dive, and we had planned on going diving in Belize at some point. But being, you know, who we are, we didn't book it ahead of time. We just got to Belize, and the first thing we were looking to do was actually to go paddleboarding. We were looking for paddleboards, you know, typically they were like $30 an hour, a lot of places to rent. And then someone told us about this bar that was down the street a little bit, but they had free paddleboards and kayaks actually, and snorkel gear that we could, it was a beachside thing that we could use. And we're like, wow, that sounds amazing. So we showed up, we used their stuff, we came back, and guess what? We bought lunch. So someone told us about it, right? That was a referral. We were interested. So, you know, we could have called them. I can't remember how it actually went down, but we engaged them, and then they had a free offer. They converted us by getting us there, right? They got us there on the property. And of course they had lunch available. And so we had lunch, and we had some lunch and some beers, and probably spent, I don't know, $30, right? Depending on how much we ate and drank that day. So now we're at the bar, we're sitting there, we're talking, we're chatting with the bartender, and clearly their staff had been trained to tell us, guess what? They have a dive shop right there, and diving guides, and they have fishing if we were interested. Like, what are we going to do while we're in Belize? And we're telling them, hey, we're looking to go down. Well, guess what? We have this. Well, we had so much initial value from them because we just had a great lunch. We just went paddleboarding. We're like, these people seem great. We spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars diving with them for the next few days. And everybody we looked at around the bar, the next morning we showed up to go diving, they were either diving with us or they were fishing. And this is when they grew us, and then they gave us a great customer experience, right, all the way through. Where they dropped off is they could have asked us for a review on TripAdvisor, right? When we were done, the guides could have said, hey, if you had so much fun, will you give us a review? You know, we love, that really helps us out, da, da, da. That's the one piece they didn't do, but they gave us a great offer and gave us a great customer journey, and they were thinking through it, right? They knew if we just get people to show up, we can then get them through the process. So hopefully that idea maybe helps illustrate an example of a great customer value journey. So we are about to take a minute. I know I've been talking for a long time, and when we do these via Zoom, I always feel like I don't know if anybody is listening now. But if you're in, would you mind just saying I'm here, I'm all ears or something in the chat? And Kim, my chat has gone away, so would you let me know if we're getting anything good in just a minute? We
will do.
Will do. All right, cool. So let's now do this. Let's apply this to your business. One quick quote I had here was Spencer Spinell from Google. 90% of purchasing decisions are starting on the internet, right? So this is the reason this is important. 97% of purchasing decisions are on the internet. I think as overall data that's pretty reasonable. I think if we think of our personal use experiences, when we're interested in something, what's the first thing we do? We look online, maybe we find it on social or Google searching, we're finding content, we're getting our information online, right? If that is the case, of 97%, wouldn't it be a good idea for us to give our information, that information to be that starting point? Wouldn't it be the best idea to be the starting point for people searching for what we sell? The other thing, if everyone could, if they haven't already, put their businesses in the chat so that I can see them. I would love that.
So Dallas, do you have the chat up already? Or do you want me to
thought
read?
I did, but yes, I was wondering if you could read it, because for some reason I can't find it on my screen.
It disappears. Okay, so Michael Gunkel, I hope that I've pronounced your name right. He is a CPA, tax, and accounting person. And then we have
Okay.
Chantel DeMille, who is has a business called Millet Knives. They are a small manufacturing facility in Meridian. And then we have
Okay, for knives.
Jeanette. Yeah. Then we have Jeanette Klobutense, and I'm sorry, Jeanette, I'm sure that was a terrible pronunciation of your name. She's actually a business consultant like myself in one of our North Idaho offices. And then there's one other
Cool.
person named Connor. They have not responded, so I'm not sure what they're doing. But Michael did respond when you asked, said that it was a good message, what you were saying. So there we go. You're all caught up.
Okay, cool. Michael, we got taxes, we got knives, we got a consultant, and Connor, whenever you're around, man, we'd love to hear what you're doing. I'm gonna give you some examples here as we dive into this piece. So I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what the quick homework is. We're gonna do the homework on the call, so it'll give you a second to take a drink of water. We're gonna give you 3-4 minutes to do this as a break, and then ask questions if necessary as well. But it's going to be 2 ideas of content to engage your prospects. And don't worry if you're kind of stumped right now. I'm going to give you some really good examples. A few hints that we're going to think about. Number 1, think of frequently asked questions. People ask you, what do people ask you all the time? This is the type of information that you want to create for them, right? If you're a tax accountant, I'm sure people are asking you, depending on if you're working with businesses, what about the S selection, right? I know that was something I was super interested in, right? What's going on? Or 2020 with everything going on here, or maybe this stimulus package, like what's the deal with that? I'm claiming that, like how do I do this, right? Maybe it's whatever you think is frequently asked. We create a piece of content. A piece of content means a video. It could be a video. If you're good on video and you feel comfortable in front of the camera saying, hey, I want to create this quick video because people are creating these questions, and then we post that in the form of a blog as we know it, right? Or a page on your website. So it lives. All of these pieces of content, for the most part, we want them to live on your website, because that is where Google's going for information to search. If you want to get your search engine rankings, that's where you can take that link now and you can post that on Facebook, you can post that on LinkedIn, and then you can turn that into an ad, which we'll talk about soon, and you can get it out to all of Boise and they can engage with it. So that's what I mean by a piece of content. It could be a video, it could be a written piece of content, but it has to be an engaging piece, something that someone actually gets away like, oh, that was really good. So use Google to find out what people are searching, right? Check out industry leaders. So maybe there's some larger companies. If you're a local business, for your maybe the knives, if you're a smaller manufacturer, see what some of the leaders are doing, what kind of content they're doing, and you can use that information. Think of questions you wish your customers would ask you more, right? What do I wish, right? Like as an accountant, I wish people knew about this thing. Like for me with Facebook, I wish people were asking me about retargeting the Facebook pixel, right? Because this is where they can make the most money. The issue is they don't know it. So I propose that as, hey, here's how one of our clients made $72,000 in a month by doing this one little thing, right? People are like, oh, that's interesting. And now I can teach them about that. So the next piece, I'm going to give you a couple examples.
Dallas, before you move on, I just wanted, Connor actually is Vicki Connor, I believe, and from Connor Art Studio, they do art, fish, animal, pet, botanical, as well as handmade bamboo fishing rods and wood turning. So.
Oh, exciting. Cool. So yeah, same thing. We're, obviously in the art space, there's a lot of information, whether you have stuff for people to come look at, if there's activities for people to do. If people are interested in art, you are the expert, so you can educate. So there's 2 things. There's actually, I guess, 4 in total, but I want you to think of 2 ideas of content that can engage your prospects and 2 ideas for an offer to convert your prospects. So I'm going to give you a few examples here, just so we can run through it, and then I'm going to give you the time. So I know I just said I just want to get your mind going while I'm giving you these examples, and then we'll give you some time. Here's a great one for a local jewelry store here in town. The idea was they wanted more engagement clients, right? The idea of getting engagement. If they sell an engagement ring, they know that they have them for life, right? They're going to get the anniversaries, they're going to get the birthdays, the Christmas, the Valentine's Day, because if you give them a really great experience with that engagement ring, you got a customer for life, right? It's a great idea. It's a great campaign to focus on, but they're struggling to reach millennials, right? Young folks. Well, again, guess where everyone goes? The internet, first place. Some guy like me who has no idea about rings. It's a scary thing. It's a big investment. There's all these things. Well, if I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed and I see 7 things to know before purchasing an engagement ring, and the text here says, here are 7 things you need to consider before you buy an engagement ring, right? And guess what? We'll talk about targeting in just a minute, but I can target everybody who is in a relationship in Boise, in the surrounding area, or within 5 miles of a certain radius. Like, we can target the people. So now I know this is really interesting, right? So someone like me, I'm clicking on this all day and I'm reading some information, and guess what? This jewelry company who posted this, now they're a trusted source, and I'm getting tons of traffic to the website. And we'll talk about the next thing that we offered. So now here's our engaging piece of content and our offer. Now that I've clicked, I am that person. Literally, I'm this person. I need to know about the engagement ring. They're going to tell me about insurance. They're going to tell me about cut and clarity and all these fancy things, and why picking a good jeweler is important, because you don't want to get ripped off, and you want to be able to insure your piece, and you want to do all these things. And I'm like, man, this jewelry store seems really legit. I should go in, I should probably talk to them. And then I have an offer at the bottom of that article. I have an offer that we're also posting on Facebook and using as ads, is $250 gift card towards your engagement ring. So it says, if you're interested in talking with a jeweler, just fill out a quick contact form and receive a $250 gift card towards the purchase of an engagement ring. So I'm going to go back here and show you what this looks like, right? All of a sudden I'm scrolling Facebook or Instagram and I see 7 things you need to know. So I'm aware, and now I click on it, right? I'm engaging. Now I'm on the website and I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Now it says, if you give me your phone and your email address, we will send you a gift card. Guess what? I opted in. I got that. That's worth it, right? That's a good thing. $250, that's pretty solid. I'll give you my phone and my email for that. And then guess what? That goes straight to the salesperson. Salesperson calls and says, hey, would love to get you in the store, check some things out, see what you like. If you want to schedule an appointment or do you want to come in? And guess what? They got me in the door, right? They got me there. So hopefully you can see this is very congruent. They thought through every single step, because they knew they didn't just want me to read the article. They want me to take that next step. It's a very seamless process. So that's one example. And we'll talk about retargeting soon, so we can actually follow up with all those people and show them this ad later when they're scrolling Instagram. Here's an example from a dentist. I think this is a periodontist, actually, someone who does surgery in the mouth. But one of the big things, I don't know if anybody's had any mouth surgery, but it's a big deal, right? There's a lot going on here. And this was a new product that they had available called the All-on-4. Pretty serious procedure. Literally, it's like all new teeth. So if this is something you're interested in, all of a sudden you see something come through your feed that says, this breakthrough dental procedure helps replace missing teeth permanently, right? We see that headline, and then we see, here's the best way to restore the look of your smile permanently. Read the full article here. And boom, that takes me to an article. It tells me all about this new procedure, and then it says the next step, right? A clear next call to action is to schedule your smile design consultation in our office here in Boise. The smile design consultation is for people who are serious. Here's what it is. It's a great offer, and that is my next thing. I'm ready here, and you can see in the page a big call to action, ready to go, right? So I'm giving something to engage with, and now I'm saying, cool, here's your option. Here's a product company. So for our knife company out there, here's a similar one. For a water company we work with, our bodies are made up of approximately 60% water. Here are 5 reasons why you need to be drinking the good stuff. 5 health benefits of naturally alkaline water, right? We're targeting people who are interested in health. They're going to click on this all day long. And then we followed up with a free shipping offer. One more example is a Idaho apparel company. We may know this local company, and we did an Idaho quiz to see if you're a true Idahoan. Right, so if you love Idaho, they're the ones that sell the Idaho gun hat, right, and these Idaho things. This gets them to engage. So with that, I'm going to take a second, see if I can get this chat up as well. But take a few minutes here, and I'd love for you to write down 2 ideas for content that engage your prospects and 2 ideas of offers. So an idea of engagement would be that 7 things you should know article, and then the offer is a $250 gift card. For the dentist, it was learning about this new procedure that's really cool and exciting, and then the offer is a free consultation, right? For a product-based company, maybe if for your knives, it is, you know, what the best knife is for elk hunting, right? Terrible example, forgive me. But then the offer is free shipping, or get 15% off your first purchase, right? Or buy this big knife and get this little pocket knife as a free gift with purchase. So feel free to start blowing up the comments there, and I'm gonna see if I can't open up some chat. And Kim, feel free to let me know if we have any questions coming through. I would really appreciate that, since I seem to be illiterate here.
There's been no questions. However, we did have someone else join, and I apologize in advance for my pronunciation, but I believe it's Rajinder Parthak. And they said that they have a media company called Big Rishi Media.
Big Rishi Media, okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. Sorry I joined late.
Cool. We'll keep giving some examples here. I'm gonna see. Okay, there's the chat. Weird. All right, we'll give you a couple minutes here as I'm trying to see if I can pull up this chat.
Dallas, Alt-H is the keyboard shortcut, if that helps.
See if I try Alt-H. Did it work? Weird. I can see everybody. I can see the participants. And then I have chat, but it's my general. All right, well, I guess I might be out of luck. If there's any questions or any ideas anybody needs for engaging content or offer?
Nobody's said anything yet, but I will continue to monitor. Please don't be shy.
Yeah, I'm here. We got a small group today, so I'm happy to help. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're gonna start moving and shaking now. We're gonna get into some more fun stuff. So I cannot stress enough, if you have a great piece of content, like that 7 things you should know, right? If you have a great piece of content, the Facebook stuff that we're gonna talk about is gonna be a cinch. And if you have a great offer, you're set. That is 90% of this whole thing is a great piece of content, a great offer. We can't just, and having the customer journey planned out. So we have to know what we're asking people to do and why we're asking them to do things. You know, people's time is very valuable. We know their attention spans are like that. So what are we going to put out there to, you know, give them so that they will engage with us? That is the biggest challenge that you will find in today's marketplace when it comes to advertising and marketing, is not getting the attention, right? We can pay all day for views. Views, we can get you, I worked with and said, my 1-year-old son can get you 1 million views on YouTube if that's what you want, because we can literally type it in. But views and those things don't matter. Followers are not going to help you. Those people taking that engagement with purpose, right? So if I read something that says 7 things you need to know before you buy an engagement ring, and I click on that, that's intent, right? I have an intent to learn to take the next step, right? Or if I Google, you know, everything I should know about engagement rings, right? Engagement rings Boise. And these things pop up that are value-driven content. Well, that's what we click on. So That is extremely important because when we go put money behind it, the targeting, that part is easy. That's just a little software that we plug in. The part that takes the thinking is this engaging content. And then where most people's mistake is made is once they do get something that's engaging, they don't have a clear next step. We need we call it a congruent, clear next step. Just like the consultation, right? For our tax accountant, it's going to be some sort of consultation. But I just have a note for you. I think it's Michael. This is one of the big things that we've done that's changed the game for our business alone and some other businesses is we change a free consultation, because everybody offers that, into something very specific. So we have a 29-point e-commerce analysis that we offer, a checklist. So we say, hey, we offer this free thing. You basically get an hour with us, plus we build out a couple other deliverables. So we give you actually even more. We try to over deliver in that meeting. So when we have that meeting, it used to just be our free consultation, or discovery call is what we called it. But now we've turned it into a value-driven session, and we renamed it, right? Because that's what our customers want. They're looking for an analysis. They're looking for these certain things. So maybe it's a task analysis, maybe it's some sort of free thing, but it's basically your consultation. Obviously we don't want to give everything away, but we want to give them enough to go, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about, right?
Hey, Dallas. Michael
Yes.
has chatted in a couple of things. And so the first thing he chatted
Please.
was engage. When is your business ready to hire a CPA? And then how much time do you spend on your monthly accounting? And then a follow-up, the offer one, free business personal tax return prep for monthly clients signed up by the end of the month. And then his thoughts on that question mark.
Amazing. Great place to start. Start with, if you do have current customers or current prospects that you have available, call them up, send them an email, make that offer to them, see how they respond to it, right? That's a great way to test things. Any way we can test things. But hold those there, hold those in thoughts. I think those are great ideas. You know your business better than anyone does, but the idea behind it, I imagine, is I'd want that help, right? So let's keep those, and now we're going to move into traffic, and I'm now going to show you exactly how to get that in front of everybody in the Valley if you want to, right? Or beyond, if you want to be national, international. And we're going to talk about data. This is a touchy subject right now, so please don't shoot the messenger. I have the way that I look at this with data, we're going to talk about a lot of things that are pretty controversial right now. If you haven't seen The Social Dilemma or some of the other things going on as far as data and privacy goes, my take on it is this: as business owners and as marketers, we have a moral and ethical obligation to deliver great services to our customers and great products to make their lives better. And if we are doing that, these platforms will only help make that grow. If we are using these platforms to do things that are negative and negatively impacting, the world and the community, then that's a whole different story. Or to negatively influence people, that's an issue, and it's up to us to make that decision. The tools are out there, they're available, and typically when done right, these things actually give customers a much better experience because we are leading with value, right? Notice that we talk about here, I'm talking about engaging content that helps people. If you see that in your feed, you're happy to see that. It's much better than a big bright ad that says, do business with us, sale, like best insurance company ever, right? Best CPA ever, And that's not value coming through the feed. So I just want to keep that in mind as we kind of go into this. So everything that we're going to be talking about today is through the Facebook Business Manager. This is different than your typical Facebook page. This is the back end. This is where the magic happens. This is where businesses should operate on Facebook. This is where I spend all my time. It's way more powerful than just posting on your page. We'll talk into a few details there. All the blue things, you'll see my highlight or my mouse turning to, a little hand. This is all linkable for you. So if you don't have your business manager set up, when you get this PDF from Kim, you can go ahead and click on this and set up your Facebook Business Manager. There are, articles and everything to teach you and take you through the process and the setup. Okay, so everything we're going to be talking about today is in the Business Manager. So business.facebook.com. It is the back end of Facebook, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Really exciting place to be. crazy. So now we're going to talk about the crazy data. And this is, this is Facebook. The reason why Google, Facebook, right, Twitter, these companies are multi-billion-dollar companies, some of the biggest, most powerful companies in the world, is this data. They are taking into account 2,000 data points about you. I'm going to use one simple example just to keep it congruent here for this rest of this talk, and that is Facebook. Probably the most powerful algorithm in the world, arguably. Google obviously is huge as well, but they're taking in 2,000 data points about you. Now you may say, hey, I don't really use Facebook. If you've ever created a Facebook account, then you're connected to a user ID. And as you use the internet at large, whether you are on your phone here or your computer, they're taking into account all these data points about you. You think it's just why you're on Facebook. It's actually why you're using the internet. So, hunters out there for our knife people, right, they have certain behavioral patterns. They're watching certain types of videos on Facebook, and offline they're looking at certain types of blogs. They have a certain pattern behavior. It's tracking all those things. It's also tracking their friends, right, and their spouses and all these things. And it's creating these profiles to say, hey, and putting you in buckets to say, hey, this person's probably interested in this. And they're very, very, very good at it, right? Like insanely good at it. And that's kind of why this is so powerful, is we're able to find exactly who we're looking for. And the key is we want to find exactly who we're looking for, and we want to give them good, valuable information, and that will win every time. So I make this joke. I made a joke a while back in a talk, and I actually looked it up on Facebook to see if I could target this person. But I joked that I could find soccer moms who shopped online, who were engaged shoppers, who were into German Shepherds and shopped at Whole Foods. Like pretty narrow market, maybe, right? Well, I actually looked it up, and at the time, I found 99,000 people. This is called interest-based targeting on Facebook, so we can actually select the interests of the people. Now, if I'm a local business, for my knife company, this is where you want to focus on hunters and things like that. If I'm a local business, I actually stay away from some of this audience-based targeting, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but typically we do a little bit of it, but not a ton. We mainly just focus on geographical targeting. But you can see here all these red arrows. We actually targeted, we selected these interests, and we found these folks, right? So here is another really interesting thing for a lot of our local businesses here, maybe our art studio, media company, maybe even, I know for you, Michael, is people recently moving to Boise. Boise is growing rapidly. Treasure Valley is growing like crazy. How do we take advantage of this? Well, there is a feature inside of Facebook Ads Business Manager. So you go into Business Manager, and this is called Facebook Ads Manager. We can select recent life events, recently moved. And these are people who have updated their profile within current city in the last 6 months. Audience size, this was a while back, but this was Boise and 50 miles. You can see the geographic area. There's 2,700 people. And that's a lot of people, right? And for a $10 a day budget, that's how we release Facebook ads. So for $10, we could reach 440 to 1,200 of those people and get between 5 and 31 clicks. That's a big range, obviously. The key here, just so you know, to win at Facebook is good content, good offers. That's a huge range, right? If I spend $10 and get 5 clicks, that's $2 a click. I'm paying $2 per click. If I get 31 clicks, that's closer to 30 cents a click. That's a huge difference. How do you get closer to this higher one? You give good content. The better the content, the better your pricing is going to be. So this is called interest-based targeting. This is how we can select those people that we are looking for based on their interest. So what I recommend is going back here, getting your business manager set up and your ads manager, and starting to play in there and see what your audiences look like, right? That's going to be your first step. See if you can find people and how big these audiences are to focus your messaging towards, and you're going to want to put your content towards them. Okay, now we're going to talk about custom audiences. Custom audiences this is the wild one. This is the winner every time for us when we're doing our audience-based targeting, if you have a decent amount of data. So I'm speaking to you if you have a current business with a current customer list or maybe an email list. We can create You can see customer files. So use a customer file to match your customers with people on Facebook and create an audience from these matches. The data will be hashed prior to upload. So I think I have an example of it. Here's a client here. This is literally what we did. I said they had previous customers. They had a good list. There's actually a nonprofit, and they had donors, right? And what I said is, hey, we need a list of your customers, all your donors. Can we get a list? An Excel spreadsheet, and let's get this list, and let's organize this list to our best ones, so people that have donated the most amount of money, put those guys at the top, and then go down. And I want to they had a pretty good sized list, so we took the top 20%. You need a minimum of 100. So that's kind of your key differentiator here. Do you have 100 customers or 100 people's emails? And you're trying to get as close to your ideal person as possible. A customer is an ideal person, right? An email list could be a really good list as well. By the way, you cannot use some list that you found or bought from someone on the internet. This has to be something that you own. Facebook will check on that and see how you got these, but it is illegal to use someone else's information. Again, this is where kind of ethics come in. Your current customers, they said, hey, let's get these customers, and I uploaded that list to Facebook. And what you can say to Facebook, and this is called a lookalike audience, right here, see lookalike audience, is find people on Facebook who are similar. So basically we say, hey, Facebook, go find us 1 million more people in the United States with the same exact behaviors, patterns, tendencies. Remember these 2,000 data points? They're tracking all those things, and when I upload their customer list, they're looking for 2 things. They're looking for phone numbers and emails, and they connect. So if I have my phone number and my email, they're connecting that to a user ID. That's why Facebook asks you for your phone number and confirmation email, and then they connect that to a user ID, and they can say, okay, these users have all these behaviors. Let's go find more people like them. Here's one example of a massive return. I think we have over a 10x return over a period of time to show $12,000 spent and $140,000 in return. I know that's a high budget for maybe some people. You can spend much far less than this. This is a smaller budget, but you can start spending, $10 a day, like we talked about. You can spend as low as $2 a day. Obviously your results are going to vary based on how much you're spending, but you don't have to spend very much. You can spend $1 a day if you wanted, right? And so the real question that I have, and this is, I'll actually ask the question in just a minute, but this is your customer data. The next thing that you can do is actually based on website traffic. We're going to talk about the Facebook pixel in just a minute, but we can put little trackers in our website, and we can go create audiences based on people that have visited our website in the past, or people that look like people that have visited our website. And we'll talk about the Facebook pixel in just a minute. It's a super powerful tool. And we can do all sorts of things. We can target people who have liked our Facebook posts on our business pages, who have watched our videos on Instagram or on Facebook. As I'm speaking about all this, Facebook owns Instagram, just as a note here. And so all this information applies to Facebook and Instagram. And when you buy ads or go into the ads manager here, you can place ads on Instagram or on Facebook. Again, I'll note here at the bottom, I have a link for you, custom audiences. So you can learn all the in-depth things, right? We're just scratching the surface, but this is where you can learn more about this and how to set them up and all those sorts of things. So lookalike audiences, people that look like our current customers, is a great place to target. An example, my question to you, do you have data you're not utilizing? Do you have customer lists? Do you have email lists? Are people coming to your website? If you don't know how many people are coming to your website, I highly recommend putting Google Analytics into your website as soon as possible. It's the simplest, most straightforward, most popular analytics platform. So you can see who's coming to my website. How long are they spending here? If you have people coming, you're going to want to follow up with them, which is what we're going to dig into. But you probably do have data, right? If you do have data. Now, let's say you don't have data. Let's say you're brand new. You create that piece of article, that piece of content, like we talked about. Our 7 things you need to know before you purchase an engagement ring, and you put $10 a day and you focus that at men in Boise who are in a relationship within 5 miles, all of a sudden people start clicking on that, right? And now you have data. You have all these people who are interested, and now they're clicking. And every time someone clicks, the algorithm gets smarter, and it gets smarter, and it gets smarter, and you get more and more data. So this is just a question to use. What data do you have that you aren't utilizing? It's super, super powerful for returns. All right. Hopefully everybody is still with me. I know I'm out of breath, so I can only imagine you're probably like, this is too much, but we're going to wrap it up here in this last piece, and we're going to open it up for further questions. Maybe we can even unmute some people and answer some questions as well. But number 3, how following up can change your business. This, again, is personal to me. Follow-up, we know, is a big deal. 7 to 12 follow-ups, right? That's our key. That's in sales. That's in marketing. We talk about touch points in marketing. You have to have so many touch points. Really, it's so many follow-ups. It's not about touch points. It's about being consistent. So the first thing, I know it's a marketing presentation, but if you have prospects or leads or anybody that's engaged with you, have their information, figure out a way to follow up with them and give them that valuable content. So go create that content that we just talked about. Call every person or email every person and say, hey, just want to let you know I was thinking about you, created this piece of content, would really love your feedback on it, right? See what you think. Or I think it could be really valuable for you. Just wanted to send this over to you, right? That's following up. That you are going to go get some revenue right away. Follow up on those leads. The next piece is I'm going to teach you how to do a follow-up automated, right? So we probably all experienced this before, but it's called retargeting. Retargeting is we've all been shopping for that thing and all of a sudden it follows us around the internet. Well, there's annoying ways to do it, and then there's valuable ways to do it. And the reason companies do this is because it works. I might even be able to show you really quickly how well this works. This stat says when a prospect sees a retargeting ad, there's a 70% chance that they will purchase your product over your competitors. 70%. So that means they engage with you. They clicked on your website, right? They've been there, and now the next thing they see is your free business consult, right? Or the offer that you had there, Michael. Or maybe for a knife company, maybe it's a free pocket knife with purchase, right? So you visit your website and all of a sudden it says free shipping or it says free pocket knife with purchase. Or maybe for our studio, we have something that's getting them in the door. Imagine I just checked you out and now, I was on my computer. Now I jump on my phone and I'm on Instagram and all of a sudden I see this free offer. And now I'm like, hey there, like go tell my wife, hey, we should go check out this art studio. I just got this thing. We get this free thing on Friday night. Like, let's go check it out. So that's kind of what we're talking about. This is value. This is where we're getting them to, take that next step with us. And the chances of someone taking action with us that have already previously engaged with us is significantly higher. And I'm going to show you how much higher, actually, in one of these first slides that I had for us. I wanted to make this note here. If we can see, this is a campaign. Notice I showed you this in the very beginning. Retargeting campaign, pretty simple. This is our follow-up. This company actually is not from Boise. They do zipline tours and things like that. So when they engage with them, the next thing they see is, hey, you better book now, right? Because we're going to fill up. And it's true, they do fill up. They fill up their spot. So book online to make sure that you get your spot, right? And that's our retargeting campaign. 50x return, this purchase return on ad spend. So that's our return. That means for every $1 we spent, we made $50 in return. So
Alex,
I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Michael has a question that says, does a newsletter count as follow-up?
A newsletter does count as follow-up. We just want to make sure, it's a great follow-up actually. The big thing that I like with newsletters is making sure they're packed with value. So if we're giving newsletters, it's less of an update about our companies because some people like to hear updates on our companies, especially if they're important, but more people like to hear stuff that's going to help them. We're naturally selfish. So that's a great question, Michael. A newsletter does count as follow-up, and it's a great follow-up. Keep doing it, and just make sure it's continued to be valuable to your customers. And pepper in some offers. I would mention that in your newsletter. Into this offer, like to your newsletter, say, hey, this month we're offering this until this time. Hurry, don't miss out on this, right? Because I'm sure you can't give it away to everybody. You'd be super busy, so it's just you have a limited number of slots or whatnot. So, yes, great follow-up. So this is the retargeting. I'm going to show you the example, but this is one example, right? 50x return just by following up. So typically, just so you know what this company was doing before they started retargeting, was nothing. They had people come to their website every day. Think about this. If you know, like, let's say you have 100 people come to your website, and we talk about conversion rates, which means our website is not for things people just to poke around on. Our website has a purpose. Our website's purpose is for them to take an action, right? If I'm a tax, if I'm a CPA, it's schedule a consultation, right? That's the next step. I want you to call me, or I want you to get an appointment with me. If I'm selling knives, I want someone to buy something or go to one of my wholesaler sites and buy something, right? Physical. But if I'm selling direct, which hopefully you are, I want someone to buy something, right? In Art Studio, I want you to take a next step. I want you to take action, right? 99% of people aren't going to take action because we're busy, we're doing these things, and that's why we follow up, because the money is made in the follow-up. Money is made in the follow-up. So that's why we retarget. That's why what I'm about to show you is really important. I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up. So let's scroll back down to, we're getting to the bottom here, the pixel, the magic pixel. So the magic Facebook pixel here is a little piece of code that goes in your site, right? A little piece of code. Whether you have WordPress, or you have Wix, or you have Squarespace, you have Shopify, all these platforms are playing nicely with analytics and code, and they have a place to put in your Facebook pixel. I set up a link that says how to set up your Facebook pixel on your website. This pixel is that little thing that knows if someone came to your website, right? So someone came to the ziplining website and they didn't buy anything, right? There's tons of other attractions around them. There's so many other things to do. I don't know if I want to spend my money on that yet. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, now that we have the Facebook pixel installed, Facebook knows and Instagram knows that next time they get on their phone, that's how we can utilize that data. Or we can say, hey, we can even focus on people just visiting specific pages, right? So if they visit a zipline page versus this other page, we can send them different things. So this pixel is very specific. But the first thing, this is what I always tell everybody, if you don't plan on doing any ads today, tomorrow, even 6 months from now, set up your pixel. Just get it in there so it's collecting data. It's going to collect data for up to 180 days. So 180 rolling days. So you can be 6 months from now and you can target those people that were on your website 6 months ago if you get it set up. It's best practice to have this thing set up. That's why we have it in bold right in here, how to set up your Facebook pixel on your website. There's a literal link to it. Pretty straightforward. Few more examples of retargeting. What would I want to retarget someone with as a small business or local business? Here's a gym. This gym, they had people coming to their website, but they weren't taking the next step. And they even were looking at their pricing and some of their other pages. So it says, you can see this ad right here. It looks like you might be interested in trying Jack City for free, but you didn't pull the trigger. We want to answer any questions you might have about the offer or our gym so we can serve you best, right? Questions about our free trial offer? Send a message. So one of the examples, abilities that you have on Facebook is to just have people message you, right, on your messenger. This is a big one. I highly recommend it if you're a high ticket offer company. So with knives, it might be hard to message everybody that has questions about knives. That's why you have chat on your website. But if you're, a CPA and people have questions about your firm, I want to talk to them rather than just, send them somewhere, because that gives me a chance to figure out what they need, right? So this is a great way to do it. If we don't know what people want, let's ask them why they're not taking action. Hey, do you have questions? What's holding you back, right? Vivid Roots, shameless plug here, but this is one that we utilized that we help. One of the initiatives that we work on a lot is clean water, right? It's a big topic. There's a lot of information about water out there. But this is a video that we did, and it says women and children around the globe walk on average 3.5 miles per day just to collect water. By providing clean water, we are giving time back to people that can be spent going to school, starting a business, etc. And it's a video. So we're selling a very high ticket offer. Someone comes to our website, they're interested maybe in the routes and our trips. Well, now they can see this video that shows more about what we're about, and they can learn just more, and they can more deeply engage, right? So that's a great retargeting. This is the one I just showed you, a little sneak peek. Hurry, book your zipline tour right now. We only do 8 tours each day, and they fill up fast. 50x return, right? Just by saying, hey, choose us. Because what the thing is there's competition, right? They're going to the next person. So if you don't give them an opportunity to take action now, they're going to move on. So this is retargeting. This is how you do it through the Facebook Pixel and the Facebook Business Manager, which we discussed. And one last example of this, we had a client, same thing, on their website. They had traffic, the people come in, and they didn't have Pixel, and they didn't have anything. And we put that Pixel in, and within 1 month, they spent $1,000 and they made $75,000 in return, just by following up, right? So again, this is a real screenshot from Facebook Ads Manager. So it really does. It's really powerful. I don't know. That slide is a random slide. Let's see here. Okay. I'm gonna delete it really quickly. I don't know what that got in here. Okay. The last piece here is what's it costing you not following up? So the question really is go look, see how many people are coming to your website, or they're those leads, those people that are you haven't followed up with, and what's a customer worth to you? And knowing that you could pick up a number of those folks if we're retargeting properly or if we're following up properly. So what is the cost really? So to me, it is a cost. It was a $75,000 mistake that guy was making for 3 years previously, right? So this is where the low-hanging fruit is. This is where hopefully you all have something. You have some low-hanging fruit that you can go take action on. And if you don't have a website yet, you don't have any website visitors, maybe it's that lead, and you're giving them that engaging content. So I am sure that a lot of people probably feel like this right now. It's like you're sucking water through a fire hose. I know this is a ton of information. That's why we give you the deck. And we made this through a little faster than we normally do, with plenty of time to spare. So I'd love, Kim, if you're okay with it or not, you can use chat, or we can unmute some folks if they have some questions, and we can answer some questions. I can give some more examples if that's helpful.
If anybody wants to unmute themselves, go right ahead.
And if you're shy and you just want to chat it, feel free. Well, all right. Any good stuff in the chat there, Kim?
The last thing was Michael's question about the newsletter. Although we did just have somebody new come in, somebody named Al. So I'm not sure how many questions he'll have for us, but maybe a couple.
Al, welcome to the party. Good news. You have a recording that you can watch. We just covered a lot of good stuff. This deck is accessible for everybody with links available in the deck to do some stuff. I always give out my email address to Kim to share if anybody does have follow-up questions. I'm particularly clearly passionate about this sort of thing. A reason I'm so passionate is, I'm pretty proud as an agency owner. Everything that we taught today, we do in our agency, for spending millions of dollars for our clients doing these things. I've spent all my own dollars on, all my own money out of my own pocket doing these exact same things. So that's why I talk about no fluff, just things that move the needle. And I know this is a lot, but if you take a chance to even rewatch the recording, look at those links that we send, at the minimum, get your pixel in and start getting your customer value journey dialed in. You are going to be in a wonderful, wonderful place. It's a crazy time for business right now, but I'll tell you what makes you stick out like a sore thumb is giving real value. And so, Michael, the examples that you had are great. Hopefully some other folks have some other examples that they can utilize. But those few things alone will separate you in the marketplace hugely. So that's all I have, Tim. If nobody has any questions, then yeah, I'm happy to share this deck with you, and we can share it with everybody else.
Excellent. So, and we'll stay on for just a couple minutes, but if nobody has anything, then we're just going to give you a 45 minutes gift of time, which is so valuable nowadays. And so I will be uploading this to YouTube, and with luck and the technology gods on my side, I'll be able to send everything to you tomorrow morning. Invariably, every time I say that, it takes 2 days for YouTube to allow the upload. I don't know why that is, but so hopefully I'm saying this now so the tech gods will listen to me and let it upload this evening, and I can send it to you first thing in the morning. So but I will have everything there. I will copy Dallas on the email, as well as put his information in the body of the email. And so yeah, so you will have this for follow-up, and for future reference, you'll have Dallas's contact, and Dallas does get paid for his time. So just so you know, that's his business model. The Small Business Development Center, we do have no cost consulting, and we can assist you with things like this and other issues with your small business, and we are free. So by all means, leverage us, and if you need access to Dallas, go for him too. So
Right on. I appreciate you, and thank you guys. Thanks for listening to me today. I hope something was helpful.
Great. All right. Going once, going twice. All right, everybody, have a lovely evening and the rest of your week, and happy first day of fall. Thanks.
All right.